Hello, welcome to another episode, and it's time for my January check-in and to tell you about my Italian progress this month. As you may remember from my last video that I recorded with my study journey, I explained that I was changing the format slightly in that I would be posting regular updates on my community tab on my YouTube channel. If you haven't already discovered it, go take a look. And also I will be posting a video once a month at the end of the month to give you an update on my progress. So this is the first monthly video that I'm posting, and there's a lot to share with you actually, so let's get straight into it. So the first thing, the major thing that I have done this month has been to devise a study schedule. Now, as you can see, I have divided my study into 30-minute chunks. This is something that works really well for me around my schedule, and also I feel it is something that I can easily dedicate time for in a realistic way. I say to all of my students when they learn English that little and often is better, far, far better than overcommitting yourself to hours upon hours of study that you can never sustain on a long-term basis. So I prefer little and often because it is more likely that you will be able to stick to this particular schedule. And for this reason, I chose 30 minutes because I felt, in the course of a week, that is like 2.5 hours worth of study, which for me and my schedule as it is, that's pretty amazing. So this is what I've decided upon. As you can see, I've divided my study into different categories. So on a Monday, I spend 30 minutes listening. And I listen to many different resources. So it could be a podcast, it could be a YouTube video, TV series, it could even be Italian music. But Monday, my lesson is about listening. Tuesday, I focus on vocabulary. And again, this could be from many of the different resources that I've listed here and others too. But the main focus for me is on building my vocabulary, which I know is probably my weakness at the moment. So that's something that I'm definitely working on. Wednesday is grammar day. So again, I use all of the different resources that I have to work on different grammar aspects. Thursday is again another vocabulary day. And as I've just mentioned, because I've identified that vocabulary is my weakness, this is what I'm focusing more on. So as my vocabulary improves, I can reduce it down to once a week and focus on grammar for twice a week. But for now, the vocabulary needs to have a bit more attention paid towards it. So for this reason, I am doing 2 days of vocabulary. And then on a Friday, I'm back to listening again because honestly, I'm definitely sure that my listening skills have improved in recent weeks just because my understanding has improved a lot. And so for this reason, I really want to build upon the listening. I haven't really focused on reading yet. This is like my first study program that I have devised, and certainly as my vocabulary improves and my grammar, then I will start with the reading, and I'm going to start with a parallel textbook where I can have 1 page in English and 1 page in Italian because I think that will help me a lot with my understanding. But for now, I'm just focusing on the 3 areas of listening, vocabulary and grammar. And on a Saturday and Sunday, they are my speaking days. So these are the 2 days of the week where I really want to try my best to speak in Italian in every situation that I'm in. And I'm going to really make an effort not to be concerned if I make mistakes or, be shy or embarrassed. I'm really going to make a concerted effort to speak in Italian. And so for this reason, they are the perfect days to do it because I'm with my boyfriend. So obviously I have the perfect opportunity to speak in Italian at that point. And if we see friends, etc., I have the perfect moment to do so over those 2 days. So this is my study schedule. And one thing that I have done with this study schedule is I have adopted a principle that I've been reading about in the fantastic book Atomic Habits by James Clear. If there is any one book that you read this year, make it this book. Honestly, I've had so many groundbreaking moments as a result of having read it that it's definitely changed my approach to studying Italian. So the first thing that I have learned from this book is that I need to attach my study habit to an existing habit that I have in my life, because then I have more chance of sticking to it and really building it into my schedule. So in the mornings, I have a bit of a lengthy morning routine anyway. I try to read for 15 minutes. I do like a magical morning practice with one of my friends. I tap emotional freedom technique. It's an amazing thing. If you don't already know about it, search Brad Yates or Gala Darling on YouTube. So my mornings are pretty full, and so it's not the right time for me to study Italian because I have a lot going on already. So I've attached my habit of learning Italian to my evening routine, and it is, as my dinner is cooking, I am studying Italian. And this ties in really beautifully with something that I read just this morning actually in Atomic Habits, in the sense that you need to do something, which is, in my case, study Italian. And if you attach it to an existing habit, which is what I'm doing, which is preparing dinner, cooking dinner, but I also make it pleasurable. In other words, if I complete this, my reward will be that I can do what I want for the evening. So if I study Italian whilst my dinner's cooking, I've attached it to an existing habit, but my reward comes from the fact that once I've completed that and had dinner, the evening is mine entirely and I can completely unwind. And I chose this time of the day because, generally speaking, as soon as I come home from work, I put dinner on, and generally my dinners are very easy and light. Like, I tend to put more effort into cooking my lunch. So for this reason, I'm still quite wired from having finished teaching all day. So it's definitely the right time. I've definitely still got enough concentration in that first 30 minutes or so, having returned from work, to study. And so that for me has been the time that I have identified, because I realised that in the morning it wasn't practical and it just wasn't working, trying to attach it to my existing morning routine. So yes, some big significant updates with regards to my study schedule. That's been huge. And also, secondly, I had a huge realization about my language learning as a whole, and it stemmed again from this incredible book, Atomic Habits. And it's the fact that when we form a habit in life, we often form outcome-based habits. So for example, I give the example of learning a language. My outcome is that I want to learn Italian. And so as a result, I start to work the other way round. So I have the outcome of learning Italian. I set the processes up, like sorting out the resources and getting a study schedule together. And then I internalize it as to what I want to do. But actually it needs to be like belief-led habits as opposed to outcome-based habits, because when you form a habit from inside and you get your beliefs straight, the processes follow and you stick to achieve your outcome. A huge realization for me, because I was literally like, why can't I maintain a study schedule? Like, what is it about me that makes it difficult for me to learn Italian? Like, why am I making this such a big drama? And then I realized that actually, and I'm going to be very vulnerable with you because I think it's important to be real, I've spent pretty much all of my life in a place where I have felt like a little bit of an outsider, a little bit different to other people. And this has stemmed from like my childhood, when I was like the only studious person that I knew at school, to family situations, even like to moving to Italy and like being the only person here that like really spoke English for a long time. And I've always had that element in my life where I felt a bit of an outsider. And as much as it could be seen as detrimental and, you know, self-sabotaging, it's felt like a safe space for me because it's something that has been a consistent presence in my life. And so when I did the work this week and I had this realization, and I was reading Atomic Habits and it kind of all came together at the same time, I realized that perhaps I haven't really consistently stuck to a habit of learning because I've got this internal belief system going on that I'm an outsider. Why would an outsider need to learn a language? Because when you learn a language, that means you start to fit in with people around you and life in general. But that's not a feeling you've ever really had, Claire. Like, oh my God, it's so deep, like literally so deep. So I kind of realized that I've had the awareness now. And the first thing you need to do whenever you want to make a change in your life, whether it's to form a habit or to just do something different, is that you have to have the awareness about yourself and about the situation and about what works and what doesn't work. And my awareness has been quite simply that I've held on to this belief that I'm an outsider, and as a result, although I have the processes available to learn the language and I have my outcome, I'm not motivated to stick to it and form a habit from it, because I realise it's going to take me out of that space that I've always felt I've been a part of and take me to a more connected life. And yeah, it's been phenomenal that I've actually had this realization. And this morning I did some work around that, some tapping, some emotional freedom technique. And I feel like I needed that moment, because you can make excuses as much as you want. I can come up on this video every single month and say, oh yeah, I've had no time, I've not done this, I've not done this. But you have to be real sometimes, and you have to really shine the light on what is holding you back from committing to your study program. And this has been it for me, like really laid down bare, like this has been what has held me back. So it's been a really significant month in that respect. And also I have discovered some amazing podcasts this month. So I've been listening a lot to Italy Made Easy, and I listened to a couple of different podcast episodes. In fact, I'm going to link them below in the show notes. One was about the art of coffee, and the other was about aperitivos and apericena, which is a new term that I didn't know before. And both of them were fantastic, because you could listen to them in the normal format on YouTube, but also you could go onto the Italy Made Easy website and listen to a much slower version of the podcast. So I've definitely enjoyed listening to that this month. Also, I've ordered a vocabulary book. I've ordered a visual dictionary, Italian to English. So my next video, I'll be able to show you that, because I realized that I needed something that would break down all the different areas that I come into contact with on a daily basis and give me the vocabulary for that. Come Siddiqui is a fantastic book, but obviously that's just like certain situations. I needed to know, for example, items in the home, and you know, how to describe certain objects that I come into contact with on a daily basis. So for this reason, I decided to supplement Come Siddiqui with this visual dictionary, and I'm really excited about getting that. It arrives tomorrow. And yeah, I've just literally been taking it step by step, little by little, piano, but this has been the biggest revelation for me this month. And I think now I've kind of realized that and overcome it, I can feel myself even more committed to my goal of learning Italian. And you know, like another big thing that happened this month, I went to go and see Spider-Man at the cinema, and I understood, I would say, about 80% of it, which was phenomenal, because I remember the first time I transferred to Italy and I went to the cinema here and I watched a film dubbed over into Italian. I understood nothing, and now I can sit through like a 2-hour film and understand 80% of it, which is incredible. And you know, like my boyfriend was there and he was saying, oh, do you understand this is what is happening? And I was like, oh yeah, I know, this is happening and this is happening. And he was like, wow, you understand. And so, you know, it is about recognizing the progress that I'm making, and it's always about recognizing it's not a frigging race. Like a lot of people think because I've been here for 4 years, I should be speaking the language. Thank you, you're probably right, but I'm learning now, and you know, everybody's got an individual story as to why they haven't learned sooner or what has held them back. But the important thing is that I'm taking charge of the situation now and learning the language, and that's all that matters really. So keep an eye on my community tab on my YouTube page for more updates as to my progress for the month of February, and I will see you at the end of February with my latest update. And I will also be speaking to you in Italian on that video, because I would have had a whole month's worth of study, so I cannot wait to share with you how I get on. Until next time, ciao for now.